Welcome to Galactic Earth Fusion, the show that discusses the normal, the paranormal, the natural, the supernatural, the organic to know the inorganic, the weird, the wonderful, all things outrageous, strange, upbeat, and cutting edge. Broadcasting to you live from Western North Carolina in Hot Springs, I'm your host, Missy Hill, and today we have Gina Virginia Cassella, the Dragon Dreamer. And I just finished her conference recently, the Summer Days conference, and she has another conference coming up. And I can't believe that, we're already into almost the middle of July. Almost, not quite. I mean, just after the 4th here. So how are you, Gina?
Hi, Missy. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm doing phenomenal. And it was such a pleasure having you as a Dragon speaker at the Summer Days conference, which is available now for everybody. Just mosey on over to my YouTube and you can find it there in the conference playlist. And just really thrilled about it. Yeah, there's lots more conferences lined up. I have a little slideshow that I can walk you through. And at some point we can pull some cards from the Dragon Dreams Oracle. And if anybody has any questions, just ask away. I really love hanging out.
That's so great. I just can't believe where we are. I keep moving around. So the first time you and I did the interview, I was at this space. I was at my dad's, which is in Hot Springs. And then for the conference, I was down in Edisto Island. And then this past weekend, I was actually staying at a retreat center in Weaverville. I was cat sitting there after I was cat sitting in Black Mountain. So I got to play with the paradigm and all these healing modalities, and it was absolutely wonderful. But today I've been in this Halloween-y sort of mood. I don't know why. I think because my friend sent me something to go to this thing called the Dark Market, which is like a sort of fallish, spooky-ish type of event that they have, around the end of October, beginning of November. And then it turns out that my friends, who are cleaning up here, taking care of my father when I'm not here, found this in the basement. So I said, isn't that interesting that we're a few months away, but it is going to go quick. And then with your black gloves, you always look this spooky way. And then this lipstick today, I didn't mean for it to turn this color, but I put this red on it. It wasn't quite going. So I said, this looks sort of purplish, and it turned into this, but it goes with kind of this black and white. Maybe it's like looking at this dualistic. I just don't know. What are you feeling? Oh, no, I don't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No, I can.
So I used to be in a bad habit of not pausing myself, and there would always be an echo, and now I always forget to unpause myself. I'm feeling the Halloween spirit too, that spooky equinox vibe. I'm still actually feeling the equinox from the spring more than the summer solstice. That in-between time really resonates with me, always has. But, what's interesting is at the conference, Summer Days, we journeyed into the pine tree forest. And I totally forgot to journey us out. And I thought, oh, no, how can I forget this, right? And I was really hard on myself. Like I think most of us are harder on ourselves than we need to be. But that night I had interesting dreams and communications came in that was actually intentional, because there's a lot of dragon dreamers who they need to resonate more in the pine tree forest, even though dog monkey folk and other archetypes exist in a sense, in a state of timelessness. The way I work is that we biologicals and the ones who exist in time, we come first and we are a priority. So if we need to hang out with the ghosties and whatnot in a state of timelessness, they need to come into our reality dimension. That's the energy I'm working with. So you're still in the pine tree forest, to make a long story short.
Yeah, I really am. Look behind me. I'm in the forest.
Yeah. But this also has to do with the sea turtle's journey.
Yeah.
Because part of that communication, and this is the thing with me, we slip into timelessness, right? And stories connect and one story leads to another. But this all has to do with the sea turtle energy, because the sea turtle takes the descent in the spring and it finishes in the fall.
That's right. Yeah.
I was feeling down in the dumps about stuff, and basically information came to me and it said, you know what, Gina, right now is fall, because my own dreams were throwing my own words in my face, because it's like I'm always saying nothing matters but the present moment. Well, why are you waiting till the fall? Now is what matters. So now is the fall. So we need to play around with this time and timelessness. And just for a point to be made, like the reason people, folks, spirits who exist in timelessness need to work around our clock is because what ends up happening is we lose track of time and we age and we alchemize, and then we don't fit into this dimension anymore. So for me personally, I feel like when you hear stories of heroes' journeys where the heroes go off on these ships and they sail away, usually with beautiful naked goddesses, and there's plenty of abundance and food and drink. But then when they come back, it's like 400 years have passed. They don't fit in. And I feel like this is part of the why. So anyways, dog monkey folk and whatnot are always present, but they're extra present right now. So if you're having a counterclockwise summer, this is all why.
And my husband is down by where the sea turtles are. So he's holding it down and sometimes going for beach walks at night, looking for sea turtles laying their eggs. So we did that when we were there. And now, he'll be back up here next week. So he'll be back in Western North Carolina. I want to show a quartz crystal. This is a popular quartz in the area of Western North Carolina. I thought it looked like one of these like standing stones. And I'm thinking if I can get some more of them, I may make a mini standing stones, because some of those folks that we know went to Avebury Henge, and things like that for the bases conference. So doesn't that look like that kind of?
Yeah, I really love it. I like the spade leaf kind of shape to it, like a flame kind of shape.
It's very
Yeah, it's
grounding.
beautiful.
Very grounding. So what inspired you to become a dragon dreamer and to call your soul tribe the Dragon Dreamer Soul Tribe Collective?
That is a great question. So, being in search of soul tribe, this business of actually, I had a cat, a black cat. His name was Spooky because he was easily spooked. Yeah. Yeah. But he was a big boy. I got him when he was 2 months old, and he was a big cat, and he was always overweight. And there was something tough about him. But you turn on the kitchen sink, and it genuinely terrified him, and he would run away. So I was thinking of all these like philosopher names to name him, and I ended up going with Spooky because he was easily spooked.
And he didn't want to drink out of the sink, I guess. He's not one that you turn the water on and they go over to the sink and they try to drink from it, because there's
not Spooky. He's any loud noises, forget it, And so anyways, I started calling him my little dragon boy, Dragon Honey Honey. I never thought anything of it. So life goes on, and I'm going through a total crisis, okay? My spiritual awakening was a total upside down world, fell completely apart, right? So it's a separate story in itself. But that's when I had the severe panic attack and all my senses heightened. And about a month later, Spooky died unexpectedly at the young age of 6, urinary tract infection. I didn't know any different. I was feeding him canned tuna, so I was killing him with kindness. So those of you out there listening, don't feed your cats canned tuna. Anyways, so my dream life starts intensifying, right? And I never really thought about dragons before. I just always was afraid of the shadows and afraid of the dark and spirits because of that incident that happened when I was in grade 2, 2 angels coming out of my wall. And so I started having, the power animals were stalking me, but I didn't know that. And they stalk you because things in your life will migrate and come around, but then sometimes you actually need that nudge from the universe to move forward. And that's what they were doing. I needed to give up my old matrix. So I had this dream. You know, sometimes you have a dream and it just like, it's one of those dreams that stays with you. It was one of those dreams and it genuinely terrified me. And my cat, Spooky, that was deceased, he was in my dream. And I thought, oh, this is nice. Like, and being the spooked cat that he is, he was hiding under the bushes over there. And it was pitch black and I was in the forest. And non-verbally, I just remember communicating like, oh, there's my cat, like, come to me, you know. But it was actually my cat being the middleman, bridging me with the Jaguar folks. And I don't have any conscious memories of Jaguar, but that dream, oh my God, like it blew my mind because even though it was a dream, my cat, there was like another cat with it or something. It wasn't really clear because it was shadowy and dark. But basically, this Jaguar was male, very strong, very masculine, meant nothing but peace, but was waiting for the right timing to come out. And there was a miscommunication because I was not ready for this. But apparently the timing was right. And so the Jaguar came out of the bush and it was human looking. And it stood totally erect on two legs. Like it wasn't like a dog that can stand on two legs, you know, and it was like full erect like a human, but Jaguar looking. And the face was Jaguar too. And so that just terrified me. That's not normal looking. And I was kind of surprised at myself because I knew it was a dream, but was it a dream? See, I don't think it was. It was somewhere else.
More than dreams. You know?
Yeah. So I started really bridging my dream life and my waking life and working with this energy, but it was really terrifying because this all happened, of course, in like a 1 second time frame. But so the initial like just coming out and oh my God, it's a Jaguar human. Sorry?
How long ago was this? When was this?
This was more than a handful of years now. This was like 2021. Something like that, 2021, to put a time on it. Yeah, it was 2021, the spring of 2021.
So that's when he passed then. I was just curious, the window.
Spooky passed in November, actually. Yeah. November, and then this happened later on in the spring. Okay. Yeah, and I was already getting connected with like the Morrigan and whatnot through Spooky, but I didn't realize it because he comes from a dragon family. We all do. He was the link. But anyways, just to kind of wrap up the dream that I had about Jaguar, the tremendous strength was really scary because Jaguar basically just went like this with his hands / paws. And that was the thing. They were paw hands. They were like hybrid paw hand claws. Yeah. And anyways, he went like this. So naturally and fluid, but it friggin' scared the hell out of me because he basically went and the trees completely uprooted a huge pit all of a sudden in the ground, simultaneously sliced and diced the trees, created a beautiful bonfire. So this was supposed to be like a welcome Gina celebration, but I was like, I'm just scared of this, you know, and I'm tired of being scared. So I was already part of the Four Winds, Alberto Villaldo's shamanic shaman 21, they call it, community. So we meet every full moon and new moon, and he offers other programs and whatnot. And I was like, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet and take this. And so one day on his webinar, I was telling him all about this, and he told me that I was being stalked by the power animals. And I was like, okay, I don't think that's helping my situation. It's only like increasing the anxiety. But for what it's worth, talking to somebody like Alberto, who has a background and specializes in this stuff, and leveling about things that, yeah, it is scary. It's not always fluffy, happy experiences. He shared a story where kind of the same thing happened, but it was with Snake, and he actually got up and ran. He woke up from his dream and ran like he ran away because that's how scary it was. And so just it made me realize that I was desperate for community. And being the teacher that I was leaving that matrix. And I didn't want to leave the teaching community because I didn't want to leave that matrix of professional development and ongoing learning and reaching out and the humility that comes with it, because we're always alchemizing and changing. And so one thing led to another. My business was originally called Present Moment Hypnotherapy because the power of the present moment. And to make a long story short, dragon kept coming up, and I felt uncomfortable because I'm like, well, I've never like worn t-shirts that have dragon pictures on it or anything. I don't have a dragon tattoo. Like I felt like, I don't know, like it just, I was afraid, I guess, to identify. And then I realized that for me in my dream life, this dragon business is like the greater oneness. And when I think about my gemstones, they were the dragon. So me on a primordial level, I mean, all of us at one point in time, we were just elementals, but a lot of my past lives are earth, air, fire, and water. I never really took a lot of forms. And so when I started to take forms, it was because I was being mined. I was being harvested from the ground and I was transformed into machines and stuff like that. So when people talk about their secret space programs and super soldier programs, I don't really think I'm like a super soldier, but I think I might have been a machine, or maybe I was the wall or a chair that you sat on. And that's why I have memories and stuff like that. And at one point I was made into a robot that became sentient. It wasn't intended, but I became sentient. So anyways, just to kind of dial it back to your question, all of this came back to the dragon being the primordial one, darkness, the shadow. And somehow that became me, the dark Pachamama, Mother Earth with the water. And we just rested in that darkness, in our sovereignty. And then alchemy took a role, and parts of me became gold and parts of me became amethyst and this and that. And this all has to do with the imagery of the dragon's eyes and the scales, which of course I had no idea. This is the kind of thing that I was describing early in my dream journal. And then once I started having those dreams with the Gnome King and stuff like that, and it all came together, Dragon Dreams, and it was called Dragon Dreamers, Dragon Dreams. And then the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe, I was hesitant to put collective on there because we're not just a soul tribe. We're a collective of soul tribes. So like people tuning in right now to Missy's show, that's Missy's soul tribe. But my soul tribe is an umbrella. This is where Project 30 Isis Unity Consciousness comes into play, which I'm still figuring out.
So I'm glad you brought that in.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm still figuring all this out, okay? Hands down, I have the humility. Maybe I'm too humble. I'm your village idiot. And that used to bother me, but now I'm loving it because I can't explain anything. I don't have a science background, and part of me doesn't even really care anymore. I just talk, and you know what? Other people know what I'm talking about. And that used to freak me out. And my gemstone readings, I've developed a lot of confidence because of my humility, telling people I have no idea what I'm talking about. Only you, the client, would know. And people tell me, like, I used to be really afraid. Like, I swear, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm psychic in the sense of a way of knowing, like I know something is up, but I'm not psychic in the sense that I can tell you times and dates and, you know. So yeah, Project 30 Isis Unity Consciousness. It's an umbrella term for all of my work. And I'm noticing Eric, Julia, Michael in the chat. Hi, everybody. You're part of Project 30 too, okay? So, so there's all these collectives out there. Your collective, you know, Julia, she has her show. Michael has his show. Those are all collectives. Great. But my collective is the master collective, the umbrella that all the other collectives are supposed to be coming to. So this is just the very beginning. And the intention is that there's 30 main people involved that organize conferences and we host shows. So like when I did, like on Tuesdays, I host a show, Story Species, Story Medicine. And the intention is that the people that I have on those shows, on the Tuesday show, become my presenters at the conferences that I host. And the conferences that I host are supposed to be affordable. And proud to have you too, Michael, to be a part of it. Michael and Julia actually were part of both of the first two, the first ever Promise of Spring, and then there's Summer Days. So Michael was a monitor, a speaker for the first one and a monitor for the second, and then Julia was a monitor and then a speaker and a monitor. So I can take you through my slideshow. Maybe that'll help me stay a bit
organized. And I want to make sure you're streaming to your channel right now.
You know what? I'm not, and that's okay. The thing didn't pop up.
Now. You know what? If you do it now, it'll get.
But the option's not there though.
That's weird.
Yeah,
it should be. It should be.
No, I know what you mean because I've done it before, but it's not even showing up. Yesterday I went live and my screen share stopped sharing at some point. So
yeah, let's try.
I ended up deleting myself.
Window. For those just now joining, I did want to show that we were both in this Halloweenish kind of mood. And I don't know, because of her cat Spooky and because my friends happened to find this in the basement when they were cleaning, and this lipstick, as you can see, turned black to wear with this black and white outfit, not intentionally, but I mixed a red with the purple and it became this. And then for the people in the UK, this standing, so this is a certain type of special quartz, which Robert Simmons actually calls azeztulite. He channeled the azez from Western North Carolina, but doesn't it look like a pillar, like a standing stone? If I find some more like this exactly, I want to make mini standing stones. You're muted, Gina.
So because you're hosting,
you can lip read.
Yeah. Because you're hosting, you have to add my presentation to the stage. Yay. Okay, so let me just okay, make this bigger. Okay, me and my presentation, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so hopefully any questions that you have, I'll answer along the way. So Project 30, ISIS Unity Consciousness, basically all my content is merging together. Movies are being made, conferences are being hosted, talk has transformed into action. This is all, of course, through dreams half remembered and half misunderstood. And this is how we unite. So I lovingly invite you to join the community, co-dreaming ecosystem. Your soul tribe awaits you. Yes, you. A lot of people out there are hesitant. They're like, you know, when that girl's talking, I think she's talking about me, or I get what she's saying, but I'm not sure. And it's like, yes, if you're tuning into this, it's not a coincidence. It's strong synchronicity. You are meant to see me in my face today. You're meant to be told you're not alone. You have a community. And for what it's worth, we get mocked, which I'm getting ahead of myself here, so I'll just focus on my slides. But we do get mocked. We get made fun of all the time. So people like Missy and the other dragon presenters, Julia, Michael, just knowing that we've been down that road is really helpful. Kind of like when I was telling you about Alberto Villaldo sharing his story about having that snake dream. It really meant a lot to me because, you know, when we think about people in leadership or mentors in our life, we sometimes forget that they're real people too. And when they admit to things like that, it really resonates, at least for me. So I'm the Dragon Visionary. I'm the one behind it all. I was a public school teacher in my past life. I became a rapid transformational therapist, hypnotherapist, trained by one of the best, Marissa Peer. She's world renowned. And of course, I acquired the training with the Four Winds. They actually offer an advanced training. I mean, how much more of a master can you become, right? I became a master energy medicine practitioner, and there's advanced master training, but Um, there's a master's course called Timekeepers. I'd really like to take that because people that I don't even really know are calling me timekeeper, gatekeeper, that kind of stuff. And so there's some synchronicity there.
Some of us just have that knowing that we are something to do with timekeepers and gatekeepers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So I love hanging out live with you. It's nice to hang out and not promote. But I do take advantage of Wednesdays to FYI you on anything that's going on. Tuesdays, 1:30, I have my show, Story Species, Story Medicine, and of course the seasonal conferences. I also offer privates, and there's a membership specific to Project 30. So I realize I'm going kind of fast here, but just because I've already stated some of this stuff. These are all the dates. We already had Promise of Spring, Summer Days. Dragon Destiny is supposed to be this Saturday. The due date is tonight, midnight, to buy a ticket. I haven't sold one ticket. So if you want to have a conference this Saturday, you've got till midnight, folks, because, and it was super last minute. Dragon Destiny almost didn't even happen. So again, if you would like to attend the conference tonight by midnight, please purchase your ticket. Falling Consciously, Season of Dreams. I'm looking forward to those. I'll have a bit more time to look for speakers. Love hanging out with you.
Was
published
a live event too? There was something you were saying about having an online event and also meeting up somewhere live.
Yes. Yes. So that is, let me scooch ahead here. Okay.
When you're following a lot of people and supporting everybody, it's hard to remember who's doing what when.
Absolutely. I totally get it. And you know what? Dragon Destiny, the one that's supposed to happen this Saturday, it can happen, but people need to buy tickets by tonight, midnight. It initially was going to be online, and then locally I was going to host a dinner. Hosting the dinner was too last minute to get RSVPs. So I said, well, why don't we just do the online portion? But it's a really great day. So even if one person buys a ticket, I'm happy to host it. It's $40 Canadian. So 8:30, we hang out live, 9 a.m. prompt start. Welcome you, light our candles, open sacred space, journey to the pine tree forest. Because it was so last minute, I've got Julia, Michael, and Jason H. helping me out behind the scenes with monitoring and tech support. But the host and the visionary and whatnot, it's all me because I didn't have time to find anybody. But I thought it would be really fun to clear up collective extractions. So if anybody thinks or feels for a second that you have an intrusive entity, you most likely do, and you probably have more than one. And you probably have a problem where you get rid of them, but then more come. Or it's kind of like a garden. You get rid of the big bullies, but now the sun is shining and nurturing the little ones, right? So having intrusive entities extracted regularly is something I recommend. So for $40 Canadian to get in on a collective safe extraction of intrusive entities is a really great dragon delight. It defaults me as the shaman energy worker to rebalancing your chakras and also to provide you with an illumination. So I don't know if people out there know that or realize that or not, but behind the scenes, when you see somebody trained by the four winds anyways, we always balance the chakras and do an illumination after we do whatever it is we do on you. So that's going to be a phenomenal experience. I'm going to do a 35-minute maximum presentation on the rules of the mind and false inhibiting beliefs. We'll have some fun doing some suggestibility testing. This I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to put the backstage link in the public chat, and then people in the chat can come backstage with me. You'll be on the screen with me and do live suggestibility testing. Whoever is demonstrating the most suggestibility is going to engage in a live mind reprogramming session after the break. And if there's more than one person, or if everybody's demonstrating really strong suggestibility, then I'll just quickly put the names in a hat. We'll draw a name. The break will give me time to do that. So 1:30 promptly, somebody is going to be getting live mind reprogramming. So it really can be you. I can help you with anything. If you need to lose weight, maybe you need to gain weight, getting the right sleep and waking up at your desired wake up time rested, having the right confidence. Maybe you have nervous habits, like you're always going like this or something with your hair, or you're always itching your skin, smoking, anything I can help you with, but I can only help you with one presenting problem. So I always ask you, what would bring a tear to your eye? And if whatever you're talking about isn't bringing a tear to your eye, pick something else. It needs to literally be bringing a tear to your eye on a deep subconscious level. You need to want it. And your mind's number one job is to fiercely protect you.
Julie says, tell us more about the illumination. And she said she needs reprogramming with this issue.
Yes.
Release of Pepsi programming. That's
yeah, like if you're drinking too much Pepsi, or maybe it's just sugar in general. Maybe you don't want to lose weight. You just want to cut back on sugar. Maybe you just Pepsi in particular and, carbonated beverages. You just want to cut that out. Whatever ails you, I can help you. But it needs to be bringing a tear to your eye. So let me just take this off the... so I can see you, because I can't see you when it's on. There you are. Okay, I can see you. So the illumination basically means, and we can take this off screen share if you want. So the illumination basically, after the shaman balances your chakras, the chakra that was presenting as the weakest or the lowest, like the weakest link, if you will, that's the chakra that we work on. So after we clear out the energy, just to rewind for a moment. So I would test your chakras. I would unlock the one that's presenting the lowest. Then I feel around and I twist my rattle. And for everybody, it's a bit different. It usually feels like really gross, old, falling apart noodles, spaghetti that's been left in the fridge for way too long. It's all sticking together. Sometimes it feels like a saturated oil, and it's like my rattle is a napkin. Sometimes my rattle, I use it like a vacuum. I do all kinds of interesting things. I'll shake it to break it up. So after I do that, your chakras get rebalanced. And then the illumination process, I literally take my hand, reach up into my Viracocha, pull the light down, and put it, bam, into your chakra. And that energy goes into your chakra, and then it goes right through all the rest. So that's why it's really cool. It doesn't matter which chakra we're working on. Some people, they always work on the heart chakra because that's like their way of knowing. But the way I was trained, it's the lowest presenting chakra. When in doubt, heart chakra. But the illumination, it clears. So all your chakras are going to be illuminated, any stale energy. It's like a final blast of healing energy, pushing out everything. And then part of this process is me cradling you. Now I'm just getting excited because I love sharing everything that I do. This is just some flowers that I was drawing, but this is pretend you when you come and see me. So these are your chakras. And I'll hold on to this like I'm holding on to your head. And I say special things, just reminding you about like maybe your throat chakra, your communication is restored. I tell you that kind of stuff. I remind you about it. And then it's pretty much over. It's just kind of based on a feeling. And when I feel like it's over, it's over. Usually it takes like 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in there. So that's the illumination process. Yeah. Yeah,
You
and you
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 see
can
it.
get the illumination process done, just solo illumination.
You see, she said
Yeah.
it's the contracts with the Pepsi Co on and off planet, and also where was the other one now? Something about sleep patterns. Oh, this is Michael. Sleep pattern reworked is one for me, and Gina is fierce. Yes. And
Yeah, well, thank you, and I appreciate your support. Really appreciate your support. And this is what Soul Tribe is all about. We compliment each other. We're happy for each other's successes. But I have to say, like, in the case of Anchor Haven, I'm hearing two different things. I'm hearing Pepsi, and then I'm hearing sleep. So you can
sleep was
only pick
Michael,
one. Oh, okay, okay.
but she
Yeah.
says this. I only work with a couple of people live online. I need to have a deep trust and be vulnerable. So I work with Gina or Sean. Yeah.
Yeah,
Get,
yeah, and I appreciate that. And you know what? For what it's worth, energy medicine is very serious, and you can hurt somebody. You need to know what you're doing. And I do have the belief that as long as you have a good intention, that the spirit guides and ghosties will all conjugate and help you get through the process. But just like anything, people can become sour with it. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's not that you might hurt somebody, it's that you're not going to be effective. And then now we get into the problem with the stigmas, right? When I did my hypnotherapy training, we spent like the first hour just talking about stigmas. And I never really thought anything of it. But Marissa Pierre, she's, wow, been there, done that with stigmas, right?
who
Yeah.
are the dog monkey folk? I have this question. One of mine is
Yeah.
I want you to explain more about the four winds
Mhm.
and what that looks like as far as when you said the four winds have trained you. So, first, who are the dog monkey folk?
Yeah, okay. So the dog monkey folk, they look like gargoyles, but they're not. And the best way to describe them is, like the North America ecosystem, we've got bears, raccoons, rabbit. We don't have panda bears or kangaroos here in Canada, um, the US, right? So the dog monkey folk, they're like that. So they have their own version of bears and rabbits. It's a different version. So they come in all different shapes and sizes. And they range developmentally in intelligence, just like we do. And my dream life keeps things very simple. So once upon a time, there was a gray ball, and that was God, and everybody was one. We were all gray. And then we broke up into two, a black ball and a white ball. So it's like families, or sisters and brothers, like this lineages kind of messages coming to me. And somehow, through the elementals and mirrors and reflections, fire and rainbows were created. And so we get the color spectrum, because the crystal breaks up the light, right? So the dog monkey folk are like the first children of light. So they are very primordial. There's like God, the grandparents, the parents, and then the children. And the dog monkey folk are like the first children, is my understanding. And they can be really funny. They can be, they're kind of like adult children. And they can freak you out because they're not familiar. You think they would be, but they really genuinely don't understand things like money. They don't understand social cues. So if you feel paranoid, like somebody's watching you, it's probably the dog monkey folk. They'll literally just stand outside your bedroom window and watch you. They'll sit on the telephone pole outside and like literally watch you sleep. No different than you would be watching a duck on the lake, like they just, the dog monkey folk, there's a lot to say about them. They're really cute, but they can also be very ferocious. They work with the present moment. So it's kind of like, and they're multidimensional too. And I'm still figuring it out as well. But it's kind of like everybody has a bubble around them. And that bubble is constantly being pushed forward. So if you stop moving, the world's going to keep moving without you and you get left behind. So this is how death is represented in my dreams. And they're gatekeepers. They work with and I do too. I'm in the life, death, life cycle. Like I help out with the Akashic records, the life between lives, and the dog monkey folk are part of that. This is all part of the dragon energy, dragon dreams. So when the dog monkey folk are, it's kind of like they're walking with you. And when you start getting old or sick, they slow down with you because they know you're dying and they support you. But sometimes it's like you shouldn't be slowing down. You're too healthy. You have a lot of life ahead of you. So they'll do things like pick you up and throw you forward. So, when life is moving too fast, it could be because something like that's going on. If you're feeling stagnant, they might even jump aggressively around you, literally causing ripples to try and help you move. So there's lots to be said about them, and they'll fiercely protect me because I was one of the first to acknowledge them because I guess back in the primordial days, the children, children don't know anything. The adults know better. But really power and simplicity. And historically, there's lots of intelligent different folks and species. And the dog monkey folk, they're still around. They've always been around. There's lots to say about them.
Interesting. I chose to wear black and white today after what you said, and I wore gray yesterday. And I had to wear like silver today. So I was like, okay, and black, obsidian and things like that. So that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to really try to tune into them then, which is much different than like a dog man. Nothing like a scary dog man. That's like,
No, they could present like, are they a dog? Are they a monkey? They're like a cross between both. Are they like a Bigfoot? Like I was going to ask, they look like gargoyles, but they're not. That's all I can really say.
Sasquatch in that family?
Sasquatch came generations later. These folks are like primordial. So all of us came later, like
later on. But I'm saying that could be their avatar tribe or something, like their soul or monadic tribe. Then you have like that avatar or rishi tribe. It could be further down connected to them.
Yes, absolutely. And insects and like little blobby celly looking things were the first animals, if you will, but they weren't called animals. And like crustaceans, like seashells, and that eventually came into play. But like water and dust started to take form and life started happening. And so even like dragons, right? We think of a dragon, but a lot of the dragons that present to me are like kind of insect looking because they're so primordial. They haven't like evolved yet to like, when you think of a dragon, you think of like a scaly dragon, right? And that's what's interesting about me. Like my timeline seems to be really old, and then there seems to be like a big gap. There's lots of, I wrote 8 books and there's still a lifetime more coming, right? I still have a box that I have to publish.
So what about the 4 winds and how you were trained by the 4 winds?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. So the 4 winds, it's really expensive to take the program. I always had a connection with Alberto because back when those 2 angels came out of my wall, I couldn't sleep at night. Like I would basically go to bed and just like kind of lie there. My dad worked a lot of night shift. And so when my mom would go to bed, I would literally get out of bed and just go watch TV and turn it on low. And there were shows that weren't popular that played, like Richard Simmons and exercise equipment. Like I thought I was going to get in super shape when I was in grade 2, and and also there was Alberto Villaldo and people like what's her name, Barbara Coloroso, who talks about like family dynamics. And so I got a lot of really good education. But I forgot about Alberto, and there's some stories that he shared. And I'm just reading Michael's dragons are elemental guardian beings that have existed here and have different energies and frequencies in my experience. Yeah, absolutely. They really do vary. So I've always had a connection with Alberto, but I didn't realize it. And he told some stories that stuck with me. One of those stories was he grew up in Colombia. It was wartime, and his father gave him a gun. He was only 10 years old. And he said, you need to sit in this chair, and if anybody comes through that door, you shoot them. And he was like, okay, whatever. But he felt really cool and powerful, loading the gun, unloading the gun, bang, somebody coming out of the door. But one day, there was a group of men that came to his home. And one of the men looked in the window, and Alberto just completely paralyzed with fear. The reality check. This is not cool at all, right? This is terrifying. And one of the men looked right at him and said, there's no one here. Let's go. And the group of men left. And whew, I'm getting chills thinking about it. But when I heard that story when I was a kid, I remember thinking, wow, wow. And then I forgot who Alberto was. And then all these years later, the wind, whistling ghost noises, those are freaky, scary noises, but they seem to call to me. So I was working with that, the wind. Then I was seeing Alberto, and then Alberto was retelling the story about when he was 10 years old. And I was like, oh my God, I've actually been following this guy since I was 7 years old. And anyways, I wanted to become an energy medicine practitioner. He recommended it. So that day that I was on his show telling the story about my dream, and he was like, oh, the power animals are stalking you. When that was unfolding, he lovingly invited me to take the program. And you know what? He invites everybody to take the program, but he was very insisting. And I thought, wow, I'm like the special one that he's singling out to take this program. So I booked a discovery call and I couldn't afford it. It was like way out of my price range. And I thought, like, what gives? Like, I thought this was gonna, this was gonna be my thing. Something I didn't know, when a lot of shamans do their training, it's the exact scenario. Come back next year. What? You go back next year? Come back next year. Because a lot of people sign up for these programs. They just take it, check off list. They don't do anything. And a lot of people take it for their own personal growth. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take it to face my shadows and do the inner work. So I thought, well, you know what? If I can't afford to take his program, I'm going to keep watching as many Alberto YouTube videos as I can, because he has lots of free, ample content. He offers affordable $30, $100 things here and there. So I took those. Anything Alberto says about dreams, it's like he's speaking right to me. So I really got heavy with the dream journaling. And something he emphasized was nature being your teacher. So I had a balcony with some flower pots. I've always been into gardening. I'm like, nature, you're my teacher. And so it's been really amazing. So eventually I was able to get the money together because my life fell apart. I became homeless, actually. I never had to spend a night on the street. My sister paid for my airfare for my cat and I to live with her. And then we lived with my parents, which we're still living with my parents now. We're looking for a place to live. And so I resigned from my teaching position and then cashed in on my pension. So I lost lots of money. And the money that I was able to get from cashing my pension early is what funded the program of the 4 Winds. And I haven't looked back. And I would really like to take the advanced program this fall, which is like another $5,000-$6,000 American. So I'm really asking for the support because I provide a lot of free content. I was really inspired by Alberto. And if anybody out there is listening and you can't afford his program, if you keep following Alberto and keep watching all the free videos, that's basically what the medicine practitioner training is. But you don't get all those special ceremonies and rites of passage and lineage. And nobody's ever talked to me the way he talks to us. like receiving the rites of passage and just some of the star nations, like the tone of voice that he took reiterating. And even Don Pascal is deceased, but I think it's his grandson. I forget his name in the moment. He's like a big name. It's unfortunate I forget in this moment. But he performed ceremonies for us and also took a tone and told us, like, asserted, like, your energy is now recognized. So when you're doing your work, you're not just randomly talking to nobody. There's energies out there that are going to be supporting you. And just, again, I can't say it enough. I've never had anybody be there for me in that way. And I needed it. So, and the Four Winds is the Harvard of energy medicine. And I went to the special education classroom as a child because of the disconnect from the angels. And so just the teacher in me, I always like to share that because I know learning curves can be very challenging. And there's different kinds of education out there. And spiritual education is probably one of the best educations you can get. Social emotional learning. Now I'm just ranting. Social emotional learning. Hi, Jason.
Michael. Oh, well, hi, Jason. Michael's got a comment here. Gina does great help to dispel the fear of dragons and shadows. I just want to share a couple things that happened while you were talking. The winds kicked up, and I just saw the hummingbird go around. And also, this reminds me of... Gina has great insight into the hero and heroine journey, which makes me think, did you also study Joseph Campbell?
So I have an honors degree in English literature, but I didn't study Joseph Campbell in university. On my own, I've read Joseph Campbell because I heard about the hero's journey, and Joseph Campbell kept coming up. And then Carl Jung. Yeah, I've read multiple books by him, Sigmund Freud, watching Gaia. I bought and read lots of books because I wanted to do my own thinking, you know? Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, and at one point I was feeling intimidated because I thought, you know, if I'm going to be talking and providing insight about ETs and the hero's journey, I better know my archetypes. I better know the different categories of ETs. And so I buckled down watching Gaia. I'm like, I was literally typing in the Greys, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, and trying to learn and understand. And I had to throw that all away because my timeline, like, there was a time before the Pleiadians. There was a time before the Greys. And it seems like the time before folks are the folks that I'm in connection with. So if the Greys have grandmothers, that's who I'm in connection with. So
that's interesting. So you're in the pre-Star Wars even, and definitely not Star Trek.
I guess so.
Some people in the audience will know what that means. Can you give us a little demonstration of whatever you would choose to want to demonstrate for people of your special medicine that you do with cards and that you do with stones and those beautiful, magnificent gloves that you wear? You got to unmute yourself.
Oh, I was just saying, these gloves are fairly new, and I got another pair that are nice and soft and long and velvety, but they're too hot right now. So you can look forward to seeing those ones at some point. So I just need to take off my background so you can see better here. Okay.
And now the wind died down. The wind died down. I thought it was going to rain.
I noticed you going like this and stuff when I was talking. You know what? It's not giving me the option. Oh, I have to stop screen sharing. Maybe that's why.
I was looking at the hummingbird.
Oh,
why am I having an echo now?
Probably because I'm not muted. But you know what? I don't have the option to share on my YouTube, but I also don't have the option to. Oh, here's the option. Okay. There's a little bit of fuckery going on right now. Okay, we're going to pull through it.
Okay, let me just.
Okay. All right. So now I'm just excited, right? And thank you for being such an engaging host and asking me all these questions. So yeah, like I mentioned before, this here, if you come and see me, this is pretend you. This is your body. This is your chakras. So when I'm working on you, because you come and see me, that means you've given me permission. So then I'll use my pendulum, test your chakras, find the lowest presenting one, and then I'll take my rattle here. Let's say it's your heart chakra, the green, literally unlock it, clean you up. I've got kuyas here. These are stones that were transformed into kuyas. So I had to do special homework activities and earn each one. And towards the end of my shamanic training, we sent all of our stones up to the upper world to be transformed into kuyas. So you get to like blow into this, your emotions, or you can talk to it. And I use it kind of like as a door to open and close your chakra. And just really like the permission that we were given as shamans to work with the element of play as well. So yeah, this is pretend you.
Okay, that's great. Here's a quick little comment. Mr. Kitty is on the lookout for Rosie.
Oh.
I'd like to see Rosie.
Rosie's usually here, or she's just hiding.
That's Arthur's mother's name. His biological mother is named Rosie. Yes, and his father is named Mystery.
Oh, cute.
So I know his parents. That doesn't usually happen. Get to know the parents.
I don't know where she is.
Biological cat parents of your child, of your cat child.
I don't know where she is. She might be in the bathroom because she's always with me, or maybe my mom's giving her tea or something.
Hi, Arthur. You can't see him, but he's right here. Come here, Arthur. He's meowing. Hi,
yeah, I
Arthur.
see his pictures on Facebook.
Mommy is outside.
All of his adventures.
I would bring you out, and now the wind's kicking up again. Well, if you would do me, my neck is bothering me. I've got this like pain, like right at C7, which is that hump in the back of your neck, and I don't know. Everything else has been feeling really good since I've been working with that paradigm instrument, that pyramid, and the bed that they had, which was that what do they call it, infrared bed.
Okay. Yeah, you'd have to get like a chakra alignment. I was just gonna tilt this down here though.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, like I guess if you want, I can balance your chakras here live. But I'm gonna need like a good.
I just didn't know if you'd pick like one thing and say.
Oh.
Why your neck's out of whack. I don't know.
Okay, so I was just gonna show you my gemstones because this is all the hype. Yeah, this is all the hype. So the gemstones, some of these I found at the beach, and then some of them I just purchased. So what I do is I just I have like different flora, so I always clear the energy by spritzing flora on the gemstones. So I just like. And even that very sound, like the spirits, they know my sound. So even if it sounds a bit different or I have a cold, it's okay. So I do that. And then I get a feel. So if I was doing a gemstone reading on you, I just think about you. And then sometimes like I start immediately going to the right. But sometimes I start going to the left, so I pay attention to that. Sometimes I'll even start going up and down. So I've started to trust and get different meaning. Like I know now this up and down is like a rocking motion, and usually it has to do with the wise and well whale and orca elders because they want to come and breach out of the water. But anyways, I trust whatever's going on, and then I'll make a circle, and I do this when my eyes are closed. They're opened right now. But I just do this. Maybe it's small, maybe it's medium, maybe it's big, just whatever I feel. Sometimes my hand stays closed, and that might send me information. Sometimes it opens. That might mean different things. And when I feel ready, I open my hands, and there you have it, a circle. Each of these gemstones has special meaning. We've got north, west, south, and east. So depending on where the gemstones fall and who they're buddied up with could mean certain things. There's a triangle that gets created. This purple one here. There's two purple ones that are side by side. They're not always side by side. That's Polaris's horns. So that freaked me out a little bit when I made that connection a few years ago. But these are Polaris's horns, and Polaris is buddied up with Hummingbird, which I don't know where Hummingbird is right now. It's still in my sock, maybe? Oh, I've lost my Hummingbird. Okay, it might be on the floor somewhere. But anyways, wherever Hummingbird is, it creates a triangle, depending on if that triangle is big or narrow. These three stones, 1, 2, 3, they also create a triangle shape. So if it's like all sides are equal or not, that sends me information. This here, it's a medicine wheel. It can be a clock. It can be any kind of layer that you can put on top of here, seasonal cycles. And then you work with this information. And then to top it all off, I choose one card from the Dragon Dreams Oracle. This one is Murphy's Law. I choose one card from the Dragon Dreams Oracle, and it's always bang on. So it like reassures, validates, confirms everything that I said. And if it has nothing to do with anything that I said, it serves as a blind spot. So I really like that, because initially when I was pulling cards and I'm like, oh shit, like this card has nothing to do with what I talked about. Like what gives? And then I realized this is a blind spot, you know, and your mind's number one job is to protect you. So and usually I feel like there's like a struggle, like there's something hiding. And every time I feel that, it ends up being one of those blind spots, you know? So just wondering where my hummingbird is right now. But
that's interesting, because the hummingbird flew around here. I saw the hummingbird.
My hummingbird is free. It's flying. I'll look for it later. But every now and then that happens. Like in the wintertime, my gemstone that represents the goddesses, this one here, I thought I lost it. I literally accepted it. I said, you know what? I accepted I lost this gemstone. And then I was just tidying up and I found it. So, yes, I'm wondering where my hummingbird is. But this is a creation of my own making, and it came together just every day doing my, oh, here's hummingbird right here. So there was the dog monkey folk were on top of hummingbird. So they're hitching a ride. They're a bit heavy, but it's nothing hummingbird can handle.
What would that mean if the dog monkey folk are on top of hummingbird?
Well, I mixed up the gemstones now, but I mean, it could mean a lot of things. It depends on the story medicine that's unfolding. But if a gemstone is covering another one, it could mean something like nurturing. Like these three gemstones here represent goddesses, dark goddesses in particular. And I find these stones typically cover other ones, but it's in like a nurturing way. Like you need a blanket on you. You just need that safe, protected feeling. Sometimes it could mean that they're smothering you. They're being overprotective. The wise and well whale and orca elders, I'm a bit surprised and taken back how overprotective they can be sometimes. And you got to be careful with your self-talk, because they harmonize your song, which is like a beautiful thing. But if you're singing a negative song, you don't want them to be harmonizing that. And it troubles me that they would harmonize a negative song. And so it's just like, interesting because none of these archetypes are perfect, you know, and they all work together. And knowing that your mind's number one job is to protect you, it's confusing because the wise and well whale and orca elders, they're working with your programming. So they genuinely are harmonizing a song that's negative because they genuinely believe that that's what you believe you want, right? And it's just like it gets confusing. So that's why we always have to like just have the humility to take a step back and honor that you really don't know anything. No matter how many books you've read or you have all your boxes with all your information and everything is nice and tidy, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when some theory is going to trump another, and are you willing to accept that and move on? Like it just, and some of these gemstones have broken, like this one here, there's a piece that came off. And so that's what made this one the family, and the piece that came off became the child. And then I lost the child, and then another child took its place because at that time the child needed to be free. So I was like, I don't know where my gemstone is. It's gone. It's free. There's a lot of meaning behind these. So
a lot of things happen with crystals, and they do that. They just show up. They disappear when they want. They come back. It's like they go into a portal and then they come back.
Yeah. And you know what, like some of these gemstones, they're just like regular rocks. Like they really don't cost any money, you know. The crystal ball that I had, the angel light, that blue one, I bought that intentionally. I bought a handful of balls, but I don't anymore because one ball that I got in particular was not happy. It was like super stressed out. My pyrite, the fake gold, because all the banging and moving around to make it a perfect ball shape, it really did not appreciate that process. So I said to myself, you know what, from now on, when I buy gemstones or anything like that, I'll just buy whatever raw shape it's in, you know, because it was a weird experience. Like when I got it, like I forgot that I ordered it. I was like, I sensed that like the mail was coming. It got delivered to my door, and I couldn't open the box fast enough. It was like there was a baby in there that couldn't breathe. It was like, this box needs to open. And when I touched it, it started burning my hand. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm sensitive to nickel and fake jewelry. Maybe I got ripped off, you know, and it's having that effect. But it was like an interesting burning sensation. And then eventually it faded because I needed to like let it cleanse in the moonlight for like a really long time. And anyways, I'm just kind of off track now, but yeah. So, and I don't spend a lot of money on fancy equipment. The only investment that I really made outside of the training was on the double pointed crystal. This is a must if you're going to be doing safe extractions. It keeps the client safe, the entity safe, and me safe because it goes in here. And it's not trapped forever. This is kind of like a maze. So it's not a caged animal.
Is that a Marcel Vogel crystal?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
this is clear quartz. You can use any kind of crystal, but it needs to be pointed on both sides.
But that looks like a Vogel crystal, which those are very, yeah, that's very beautiful. Yeah. Those are quite pricey.
Yeah. And this was the affordable one. It was very pricey. But so yeah, like if I extracted an intrusive entity out of you, I would hold it in my right hand and you would have your left hand under mine. Even if it was remotely, you would just pretend that you can like sense the crystal. And the intrusive entities, they usually hide in your spine, the base of your spine. So they come up down your shoulder, down your arm. And sometimes you gotta like
jiggle. A lot of times clients have to actually stand up and go like this. It's, when I had it done, I was going like this with my arm. I just like couldn't get it out. And
that right now.
one time I was having an extraction, I had to like go upside down. I just like, it wasn't, they get really stuck. So anyways, yeah, it goes inside that crystal. And when I'm finished with my client, I immediately go and clear it. And it's absolutely forbidden. Like if I worked on you, it's forbidden for me to work on another client without clearing that crystal. So this is another reason why training is important, because if somebody was doing an extraction, even if it was a safe extraction, well, maybe I safely extracted the entity from you, but now that entity is hanging around in my house. Now it's bothering my neighbor. Now it's going to be an intrusive entity to me, or like my mom. No way, or like, what about if the next client I work on gets it? Like,
do you ever bury that crystal in the ground or anything? Do you feel you ever have to do that? It gets so bad that you have to bury any of your crystals in the ground? No. Okay.
Every now and then I have this, I used to put my crystals and gemstones in the soil every now and then, but there's Miracle Grow mixed in there. And, I find it eats away at my stuff. So I just have this. Seasonally, I collect things, summer, spring, even in the winter. If there's branches on the snow, I'll pick them up and I just put them in here, and I'll just let it sleep. Or like if I carve a candle with a special message, I'll put it in here and I'll let it sleep. So when I first got my crystal in the mail, I had to bond with it and stuff like that. In fact, I had to start bonding with it when I ordered the crystal. We were told to do that.
Hummingbird's back.
But when I release the entity, I have no concerns. It either goes up to the medicine wisdom keepers of the past and the entity goes on its own healing journey, or it goes down to Pachamama and basically it's unmade back into elemental state and it heals in that way. So there's like biological healing, if you will, and then mental, social, emotional healing, if you want to think of it that way. And most people who have intrusive entities extracted, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You do start having interesting dreams and you have allies, because it's like you have a friend now. They're on the other side. Intrusive entities don't want to be intrusive entities. It's like a mental illness. They don't want to be here. They're clinging to you. They have false inhibiting beliefs. And intrusive entities can have intrusive entities. Sometimes you're doing soul retrieval and the client doesn't even know any different. And there's an intrusive entity down in the lower world that you got to deal with. Like, it's just, there's all these storylines going on. And the client's just like lying there, taking it all in, not even aware. You're like working all this magic for them. And then behind the scenes, like, I got to keep up with my own health and wellness, make sure I'm saying my prayers, make sure I'm making flora so I have it available. You go through a lot.
And you have a different kind of schedule than most of us have, where you get up super early and go to bed like it. Tell us about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I've always been an early bird in my childhood. I was always up early, but after I had the severe panic attack, I would wake up early and I would have these negative thoughts, and my spirit guides at that time.
What time does early mean?
So early is like, I would wake up at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, but then I actually started waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I would have these negative thoughts on my mind and I basically would toss and turn. And my spirit guides were like, why don't you just wake up and start your dream journaling, write your thoughts down. I felt really stressed out because I was fighting for my insurance money at that time. And you know what? Nobody's calling me at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's calling me at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes 7:30, the phone will start ringing.
So it was just like this sacred space that I had for myself. And it was a really beautiful time. And that's when I started connecting with the goddesses and nature becoming my teacher. So I wake up every morning at like 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. Depends on the seasonal cycles, you know. I wake up, I prioritize taking care of Rosie, brush her, make coffee. It's very chill. I have meditation music playing in the background. This goes on for an hour or two. I don't dream journal heavily like I used to. I do gemstone readings for myself and pull cards. I think about the goals that I'm manifesting. So I work with the moon cycle. If the moon's waxing or waning, I work with that energy, putting energy into my hopes and dreams, letting things go if it's waning. What else do I do? Time really flies. Like, it seems like a long time. I used to work out regularly. I'm a bit behind on that. And recently, that's what I've been doing. I'll switch up my routine. So I started doing voice yoga every morning recently. Because my voice is coming back. It's getting stronger, but I feel like I'm shouting all the time. And I don't mean to. So I do voice yoga. It takes a good 45 minutes. So I just enjoy like listening to the girl talking. And then at some point you actually do like the training. And yeah, and then at some point I start my day. I'm training controlled remote viewing, CRV specifically, that modality. And I have homework that I have to do with that. So I do best in the morning. And then I get busy with my buy me a coffee. I usually write a little post, set up any YouTube videos. And before you know it, if I don't have a client, then I have other homework that I do. Often if I don't have a client, I'll just work on any ghosts or spirits who would like a session. So I take clients on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then Thursdays kind of like a focus on me or any spirits who want. And Tuesday, Wednesdays, I go live. I mean, before you know it, it's time for bed already. And like the days of me coming home from work, going to bed, like those days are so over. I need lots of time and space before I go to bed. I need lots of time and space to ground myself during the day. So seemingly I just sit there, but I've come to realize that's how I ground. And so because my life has been in like full-blown crisis, like 2 years ago, losing everything and whatnot, these routines got sabotaged and now are finally starting to get back in the swing of things, me being in my new matrix. So it's really exciting. And like I said, there's conferences to look forward to. So all my, like the hummingbird high quality items from my teaching career, definitely carrying forward. So, oh, and thanks for wearing a dragon shirt, Michael. I'm just noticing your comment.
Oh,
so yeah, there's lots to talk about, right? And
I want to ask you again, who's the catfish? Because I know the catfish was very prominent in my reading, and I'm sure it was in other people's readings too. About that, there's a certain person that's fish in your life.
Yeah, so the catfish, in real waking biological life, catfish, if they're small or big, the way they hunt is they come right up behind the prey, open their mouth, and it's like a vacuum. And literally, like the fish in front of them will just get vacuumed right in their mouth. And then they have teeth that are like reversed on the roof of their mouth. So it's like death trap. You're stuck in there. So in my gemstone reading, there's a gemstone that represents catfish. And if this gemstone is situated behind, then it's like a warning, like something is chasing you, something is intending to take you down, to gobble you up, to kill you. Not literally. So we have to be careful with the gemstone readings and whatnot. But catfish energy, can also be very helpful. All the archetypes have their positive and negative sides, because they're like bloodhounds. So if you need help finding somebody, help hunting, it's the catfish energy. And catfish can get huge, and they do eat people. So there's this beautiful life cycle attachment. Indigenous folks in rural areas, when somebody dies, they put the deceased body on a raft, beautiful flower arrangements and whatnot. They have a special ceremony, and then they push that raft out onto the river, right? Well, it's basically human barbecue for catfish and other wildlife. So they smell us, if you will, and they know that like we're their food, and they take care of us in this sense. And when it comes to the food chain and food web, we can work with that. So if I was a fly, like, which is true, my dominant spirit guide, one of them is fly. Well, if your spirit guide was frog, well, frogs eat flies. So on a deep subconscious level, I might be intimidated by you for reasons I don't even know, but it's because I'm fly and you're a frog, and that's scary, right? But when we think about the life cycles and whatnot, it's in the best interest of the frog to take care of the fly. So the frog would be an advocate for the environment so the fly could thrive. So it's this working together. I'm having a brain fart right now, but like
Collaboration.
Yeah, exactly. A collaboration where both are benefiting.
Collaboration now, yeah.
Yes.
And I noticed that came in after you did the reading for me, and I did the Summer Days conference. I mean, it's interesting because we talked a lot about my book on your show. Now that really still hasn't come forth, but what's come forth is I've been pumping out lots of these shows.
Yeah, these shows are your book. That's like behind the scenes, Missy and I have talked, right? So sometimes when I'm talking live like I am right now, I don't remember what we said behind the scenes and what we said publicly. So I don't really say a lot because I don't want to like say something that was private behind the scenes. But since Missy is disclosing right now, like, yeah, all of this stuff is true. All of this stuff is unfolding, right? And it's important for me that I hear like the continuation. Like that's why I like when people come and see me continuously for gemstone readings, because then I get that other story medicine of verifying and validating like what was going on, and it helps me learn about the archetypes too that present in my gemstone reading. So but did you ask me a question? I don't remember now if
The comment was mainly about the catfish, because you were saying the catfish could be negative or positive, but for me it was like a positive ally. But I get that it's not necessarily one person or one spirit. It's many different people or spirits playing that role of the catfish in a certain moment, which it could probably be that too, because I think it was propelling me to get moving, because I had so much thwart my movement in the past. Like, you know, we've all had the PTSD of things that happen. And for me, it was just, you know, a lot of loss of beings in my life. So something propelled me to get moving again.
As you're talking, I'm just kind of getting an image in my mind of it's like kind of like the dog monkey folk working with catfish energy, because it's kind of like you're swimming, but you need to be swimming faster and getting the hell out of there. So the catfish is coming up behind you like, if you don't swim, I'm going to open my mouth, and then you're going to be vacuumed, pulled back into what? Your false inhibiting beliefs. So that's interesting. Like what's inside the catfish's mouth? For you, metaphorically, it would be your postpartum depression that you were just mentioning, and staying stuck in an old matrix that's not suited for you. So it's almost like the catfish was like, you have a chance, propel,
literally move your feet and swim forward, or metaphorically die, come back in here and be stagnant.
I was not able to shed my skin. And the medicine that I saw that one day I talked to you on the phone with, it was a glass lizard that has the ability to actually drop its whole tail off and grow it back instead of like shedding a skin in the traditional way, like the snake. So I thought that was significant.
Yeah, and an interesting image came to my mind when you were talking just now, because it's kind of like, I pictured like imagine a fish swimming and that's you, and the fish is like shedding its skin, but it's not coming off. I think it's too risky for the catfish to come behind and take the skin and then the fish is free. But maybe there was some kind of riskiness going on, is the communication. There was a riskiness. Like once you're in the catfish's mouth, like you're screwed. You're staying in there, even if it wanted to release you. Something would have to unhook you from its mouth, you know? So there is like danger, is what I'm thinking. Danger, like stagnation, like I said, and staying stuck. And your mind's number one job is to protect you. So what's familiar keeps you safe, even if it's abusive. It's familiar to your mind. A lot of us, we procrastinate because we're scared of our own power. Oh my God, what about if I'm successful? Why would that be a problem? For most of us, that's a problem because it's not familiar. And what's not familiar, nope, that's not going to be happening. So a lot of us are not successful. And like the top 3 false inhibiting beliefs, not enough, things are not available to you, or there's something wrong or different about you. So going back to like Julia's ailment about Pepsi and secret space programs, like ultimately not enough, something is wrong or different about you, or, you know, like those are the 3 key themes. And why do we do this? We do it to protect ourselves. We do it to physically have an ailment so somebody could help us, which falls under the protection category. But also we do things like create our own ailments to punish ourselves, which I know sounds bizarre, but we do that. We punish ourselves. And that's when you're talking about people who are suicidal and really depressed. I was at that point. I thought, oh my God, I must be really evil if I'm basically homeless. And like, you know, I fired my spirit guides at one point. I went through a lot, and just realizing that my world did not make sense to me. That old matrix was saturated with survival mode, even though I was a successful teacher, an advocate for the union, involved in leadership. Looking back now, it's so crystal clear. But at that time, oh man, I would give up anything to continue that old matrix, you know. I had a phenomenal career as a public school teacher, but the way it soured, get me out of there. I never want to go back to that matrix, you know. So,
but
yeah, it's easy to get
stuck. Kid theme. A lot of your books have the kid theme though, because of that, don't they? The art and things like that.
Yeah, my books, there's 8 of them, and the Dragon Dreams Oracle, actually, all the pictures are straight from my dream journal, and they all kind of look like a little kid drew them. And it's because basically, like, I drew them in my early 40s, but like the inner child, age 4 Gina, age 7 Gina, this one here, when I first printed these, I printed one card 2 times and I skipped a card. And so then I have this now to remind me. But if you order the Dragon Dreams Oracle, you don't get this. This is like a pre-edited version.
Can you pull us a card for our collective here on this show?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Some of them are upright. Some of them are upside down now for me just doing that. But okay, let me just give them a little mix here. Okay, I feel like they all want to be chosen.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, it's a message coming from the masculine. My thumb really wants to choose it. So my left thumb is free will. The right one is it also means free will, but like this planet. It's like, so I probably have to take off my screen. So this one is called Read Between the Lines. And I love this card. I love all the cards. Oh, there it is. So basically it's giving the middle finger. It's going like this. And it's saying, read between the lines, because between the lines is the middle finger, like, fuck you, right? And can you see it okay? It just
Not
looks like
really,
a white
no.
card.
Maybe try to tilt it like this. Tilt it.
I think my light is too bright.
Yeah, you know what I find is tilt it this way. Put more forward. Bring it more forward.
Okay, hold on.
Now tilt it forward. No, that's maybe too much. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see it now. Yep.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh, wow. Yep. Huh.
And there's my blood stain. Every card I stamped with my bloody tampon. So this one has to do with sovereignty, lines on the map, seeing through illusion, body language, telling it like it is, critical thinking, and uncovering information that is not explicitly stated. Read between the lines. So this was a collective card that was pulled for everybody just now. So
yes, I'm wondering what that means for the collective then.
Yeah. There's some kind of illusion going on right now that we need to be paying closer attention to. It's too easy for me to give examples, but this morning I was thinking a lot about imposters. I actually was feeling a sense of jealousy. I didn't mean to feel jealous, but I was feeling a bit jealous because some people are really popular, like selling their oracle cards and books, and I'm not like raking it in yet. Positive growth mindset yet. And I had to tell myself, like, see past that illusion, because you know who's buying all the merchandise and whatnot are the people's circle of friends. And so, yeah, you know, I get that, but I just, anyways, like this card definitely resonates with me. There's a lot of imposter syndrome out there. Read between the lines.
What came is people, I wasn't even thinking about a small collective of, you know, who's our friends and who isn't. When you said that, I was thinking, it makes me remember all these people kept saying there's like a financial reset coming, you know, and you keep hearing that the white hats, and not to get into politics, but like all this stuff is going to happen. They keep predicting that these things are going to happen, and they don't happen. We have to create it happening.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, read between the lines. All that they really care about is keeping you scared and small and uncertain so that they can make the decisions and have the power, right? Like,
yeah.
Critical thinking, yeah. It just and there's a little booklet that comes with it. This is hi Christy, I see you in the chat there.
Hi, Christy.
This is number 22, if that means anything to anybody. And what did I say? I said, this leads to a discussion on personal sovereignty, framing the body as one's personal land and emphasizing the individual's right to make choices about what one consumes or does to their body, thereby reinforcing the theme of independent thought and self-determination inherent in reading between the lines. Lines are important in sacred geometry. This is, sometimes I'm like, I don't need to read this booklet. It's just whatever resonates with you. That's what the card means. But every now and then I'm like, there's something in here I'm not thinking of. And this is the part right here. Lines are important in sacred geometry, like the black hairline going from the mother's vagina to the breast for the baby to follow. The lines on any land are never owned by anyone. And when we talk about lines on the map, that is an illusion because we put those lines there. The overall message encourages critical engagement with information, understanding personal boundaries, and developing one's own conclusions through careful consideration of other perspectives. Swearing is discussed in the Dragon Dreams book series. Folks and fuckers are always a great gender-neutral term. So reading between the lines, even like gender roles, right? But reading between the lines, just like genetic modification of plants and foods. What are we really doing? Are we really being helpful? All the technology and medicine that we've created, it's phenomenal, but are people really genuinely getting access to that? So read between the lines. Read between the lines. Yeah, boundaries. Yeah. Hi, Flick. I saw you there in the chat. Yeah, and thanks, Eric. I'm reading your comment here. Authenticity. Yeah, you know what? Like earlier when I was talking about how people procrastinate, like, oh my God, what about if I was successful? Like a lot of people have a hard time being their true authentic selves because it makes other people, it exposes their lack of authenticity. And that's when you know you're not in right relationship. Right. So anytime like your spidey senses are tingling and you're like, I don't think I belong with these people, like you probably don't, or if you're like, I don't think these people like me, they probably don't, like you got to find, there's nothing wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong or different about anybody. It's finding the right connection, finding the right communities. And on that, like the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective, like, it's a collective of communities. So we get you, like we understand you, we're on the same wavelength.
And if your circle's small at one time, a lot of times your closer circles are small. Oh, tell everybody what that fire water drink and cleanse is.
So this is my flora. The way I make it is with vodka, and basically you pick flowers, you breathe on them, you say prayers and whisper special messages. Of course, it's more of a, you make it a meaningful process. Ideally, you go out in the morning. I like to go when it's still dark outside. I make it a point to do this during the full moon or the new moon. So I add a little bit of vodka, a little bit of ripped up flowers, bit of vodka, ripped up flowers, shake it around, let it sit there for 2 or 3 days. Some people add essential oils and whatnot. Some people let it sit for like a month. I find it gets a bit too planty tasting for me. I usually decorate them. I usually have 4 on the go. And I just reuse broken jewelry, pieces from my dream scarf. The reason I left this one naked is because it's supposed to represent like just naked. I was working with time and timelessness, and then my sister, she had this watch. It doesn't work anymore, but I thought it's still like pretty and blingy looking. So, and I never make like the same one. I actually, I'll make basil, like, because I love the basil.
Oh, I love basil.
But usually it's whatever's around, whatever's growing. And I'm mindful early spring and late fall not to do this, because that's when nature needs the flowers and the pollen the most. Like there's still bumblebees and whatnot out there in the fall. So if you're going to be picking flowers, do it when it's in abundance. And if you're in a situation where there are no flowers, there's absolutely nothing wrong with buying flowers at the store. And even I've chopped up oranges and apples in lieu of nature, because that's what was around. So, and I open sacred space and I spritz it. I spritz it when I'm working with my oracle and gemstones. And Sometimes I'll randomly spritz it if I need to clear the air, but it's not something that I just drink and take a swig of or mix with my coffee or whatever. It's like special holy water, if you will, even though it's vodka. And if you don't drink alcohol for whatever reasons, you can use plain water, but it won't last as long. In fact, if you're going to use plain water, it's only good for like a day or two. Otherwise, like it starts molding, right? So you want to make sure
a little bit
safe.
of water with. You could do a little bit of water with vodka, but you would have to put it in the
Yes.
refrigerator, I would think. If you do,
you don't have to put it in the refrigerator, but you could put water mixed with vodka. The other alternative is to use water and vinegar. One time I used straight vinegar. I was like, woo! I thought I was going to be doing backwards cartwheels. Like, but if you want to keep it in the fridge because that resonates with you, then that's what you do. And like, it's the connection. And like when I open it, you might not always be able to hear because it depends how much liquid is in here. It sounds like a big boat horn or something.
It does. It sounds like a whistle or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pure alcohol, it doesn't have to go in the fridge. It's not going to go bad. I was just saying that for if you're like using mostly water, but if you make it flower essence way, it doesn't go bad.
Yep. And it's really cool. Like it's not just for fun. It's to clear the energy. It's also part of calling in the winds. So like when you talk or breathe, or even if you fart, like it's air coming from your body and that counts as wind. And that wind, like I have a belief, this came to me in my dream journal, but the wind is not bound, not even to Murphy's Law. The wind is absolutely free unless you put the wind in a container, but it's still free moving in that container. You can't like tie up the wind. So when I'm blowing into the bottle, my breath is connecting with the flora. It's connecting with all the intention that I set. And then when I actually spritz it, it's like this moment of like a reunion, my breath, the wind, and the actual wind. And when I'm calling in the four winds, you know, like I'm turned to the south to call in snake. This is south this way. And I'll turn to the west. And if I'm doing something live, I'll just go like this with my hand so I can face, you know, the audience. But it's very intentional. And when I'm doing extractions, I have to blow my flora right onto the crystal. And I have to pay attention if it goes up or down, because that's what lets me know if the intrusive entities went up to the medicine women, bearers of the past and priestesses and all that for healing, or if it went down to Pachamama. And
now, will you mix all kinds of flowers together, or do you like to group them like the late? I know you said to not pick in the spring or the fall, but like the early summer flowers together, and then the late summer flowers together. Or doesn't it matter which flowers you mix together?
It's whatever's available. This one here, I thought it was white lilac, but it's actually grapefruit. My dad, for a handful of years now, has been growing a grapefruit plant or tree. I don't even know. I think it's transforming into a tree. And it just, the scent, it was almost nauseating. It didn't smell like grapefruit. It just smelled very perfumey. Like I thought it was some kind of lilac. And anyways, there was abundance. And so I took some. You can pick the flowers in the spring, just not like that first, you know, flowers that come up. Like wait for the second round, you know.
What made me think, I thought of you.
But it tastes bitter like grapefruit.
Like dandelion and violets come up at the same time usually, at least where I am in this neck of the woods. And I was wondering, I guess you could mix, you know, that together, or you can mix, you know, black-eyed Susans if you want to pick black-eyed Susans with the ragweed or whatever, you know. And I'm sure it has a healing benefit for you doing it. I don't know if you also take these as like a flower essence for yourself too.
I forget the name of the plant, but this flower here that I was dehydrating, it's from a Chinese plant, and that's what I made this one with. This plant is medicinal, so I don't have to worry about being poisoned or anything. But you want to make sure you're being safe too, because some plants, you can eat the leaves, but not the flowers and that kind of stuff. So you just want to make sure you're being safe. But I find that this one in particular, like when I like sense the medicinal in it. I don't know how to explain it, but I sense the medicinal. I was kind of hopeful that maybe I would take this, but I think it's just going to like fall apart and crumble. And it's better this like naked thing that I'm doing. But I've totally gone to the park and I've collected dandelions, which there's a special connection to the dog monkey folk and dandelions.
Oh, okay.
They like, for them, dandelions are like roses, like, and you can eat dandelions and they're pretty to look at. And it's just like, you can do so much with dandelions. You can even make clothes out of dandelions. You do anything. You can make teas, dandelion wine. And because dandelions are everywhere and we take, like historically, we take dandelions with us when we go to new countries and whatnot. The dog monkey folk, they work with that. So they, if you see lots of dandelions that maybe usually don't grow in that area, that's like dog monkey folk. And when you pick dandelions to make something special like this, you can think about the dog monkey folk. I've got a mixture in one, dandelions, daisies, and I think it was like chamomile. I don't even know. It was just flowers. There was some purple stuff too. I took it all. Yeah. And for elixirs, like I haven't made one in a while, but I got this. I took Sarah Thomas's. I don't drop a lot of names. But Sarah Thomas, that's a name I'll drop if anybody wants to learn about stone medicine. Sarah Thomas, because I started making elixirs and I thought, my minerals are off. Like I never even thought about my mineral levels before, but something was off. So now, like just as a rule of thumb, if I'm making an elixir, whatever goes in here. So any gemstones or rocks, and I have a lot of fun with it. Like this raccoon upper jaw that I found, I put that in here. It doesn't fit properly, but like it wouldn't be safe to put this inside a cup of water or vodka or flora or whatever it is. So as long as you have it in the test tube or hanging out of the test tube, then you can put it inside and you can consider it working its magic. So this just like makes me feel a lot better. There's a story about a guy whose skin turned green. There's another guy whose skin turned gray, and people accidentally poisoning themselves. Before I really got into my gemstone routine, I was YouTubing like how people do tea leaf readings and that, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with these gemstones, right? It's like my own creation. I need insight. And this one woman, she was so interesting because she read mussel shells, and they were huge mussel shells, right? Like I've only seen little guys, but these were like huge mussel shells. And she had such a collection of them. But she actually started developing some serious mental illness, and the community as a whole was like, what the hell is going on? Because she was known in the community for her work with the mussels. And then one day randomly somebody made the connection, and they're like, mussels have mercury. Mercury is poisonous. She's constantly touching poison. So
Oh, wow, really?
So
Crazy.
for the sake of it, she like wears gloves now, and her health had a complete turnaround. So when you're doing this work, like on the literal biological level, you need to be careful, and even my dream life, I don't go anywhere with strangers, not even in my dream life. The only exception is if I genuinely feel like it's a higher spirit. It happened to me not that long ago, actually, because we were told in my training, the shaman training, we were given this like lots of beautiful speeches, But we were told by Alberto that like from now on, like, and always for that matter, even before you took the training, when spirit calls, you need to answer, especially now that you're a shaman. And when you call on spirit, spirit will answer. And that's not to be like, you're not supposed to be calling on spirit every day, all the time. Like, use it when you need to, right? But when spirit calls on you, like, it's like an agreement now, even if you don't understand it. So I was having a dream where, I don't know, I was like total calm, peace, ease, and it was black. And it was like I was a root vegetable being like pulled out of the ground, and it was watery or something. And I remember thinking, what the hell? Where am I going? But part of me thought, I feel completely safe. And there's this archetype who was an intrusive entity. His name is Heart, H-A-R-T, because he was an entity in my H-E-A-R-T. And he came to get me. And I was like, oh, like, I guess he's healed now. That guy was an intrusive entity seemingly forever. He was experimented on. He was a cat. And he was given people legs, and he woke up, and it was terrifying to wake up to that. And there was opportunity to run away. And so he ran, and he never looked back, and he ran up a tree, which was me. I was the tree. There was a lot of us. We were very big and gigantic. And so he was able to survive up there because I was like a nut tree. I don't know if I was a nut tree or a fruit tree, but it was a bunch of trees that were fruit and nuts. And so there was variety, the branches, you know, mixing over each other. And water, he could get water from the rain and the leaves. And he felt safe up there. And so he vowed to always protect the tree. And he died in the tree, protecting the tree. But then he didn't understand, like, he was confused when he died. And so he clung to my heart, like the heart of the tree. But anyways, he came to get me. But I remember thinking, I don't go anywhere with strangers. But it was like, he's not a stranger. And then we randomly, if you're interested, we randomly showed up to some like dark camping. It was nighttime, and there were these guys, young adults, a bunch of men, and they were getting drunk and laughing. And it seemed like harmless fun. They were drinking beer, smoking joints, and they were having a really funny moment. One of the guys slipped and fell on the snow, and then one guy fell over him. And so it was just like hilarious. And I just remember, like, why are we here? And I remember explaining to him that, like, I'm a female. It's not safe for me to be in an environment with a bunch of drunk men. And I was like, am I an undercover cop right now or something? And he needed me to go and talk to that guy. And the guy, one of them, all of them were like laughing, but this one guy was like getting freaked out because he could sense us. And that was the cue. And as soon as he sensed us, we just popped over there, and we're like right there now with him. And his friends are walking away laughing. And he's scared. He's really scared because he can't see us or hear us, but he knows we're there. And his mind is a one-track mind. He's telling himself things like, okay, I had some beer, I smoked some joints, there's whiskey going around, but like no hallucinogens. If there were hallucinogens, he would have taken the hallucinogens, but there were no hallucinogens. He's scared that we're there to take his soul. He starts like repenting his sins. And then it starts right at the beginning again. He's scared of us. He doesn't know why we're there. It's like one track mind. And there's a gatekeeper that's allowing us to have access, because we're not allowed to have access to his whole mind. But there's information that we're allowed to have, but he can't give it to us because he's too scared. So that's why Heart had to come and get me. So I don't know what to do, right? But things are getting intense because there's like all of the sudden, all I know is that like my brain was like uncertain and not sure what to do. And then it was like my heart opened up, and the other guy's heart opened up, and the hearts talked. And then my brain was like, huh? Like, my heart is having a conversation. Like, I didn't know I have two mouths now, I guess. And basically my heart was able to communicate to this drunk guy, we're not here to hurt you. We're not here to help you with your healing journey. We don't even want to know the details. We just need to know the location, and then we'll leave you alone. And the location was revealed. And as soon as the location was revealed, Hart, I guess like his telepathic picked up on it. They basically last year, or whatever it was, these drunk guys got together and abused animals. They had a fun time beating up dogs. And then they just threw the dogs down a well. And one of the dogs was still kind of alive, but it was going to die anyways, but it doesn't matter, right? It was still alive. It just, everything was wrong about it, okay? So we wanted to know where the well was, because the dog, now deceased, and it's been like a year or two or whatever, was confused that it was still alive. So the soul was still hanging out there at the bottom of this well. So as soon as the location was revealed, I'm getting like goosebumps. The whole entire well, like just, I didn't even see it come out of the ground because it just happened so fast, but it was just lying down horizontal, broken open. And over there at the end of the well, there was a dog. And I started crying in my dream, but I was like trying not to cry because the dog was like, it looked like it was alive, but it was the ghost dog. It was the spirit dog, right? But I didn't know all of this. So I was trying not to cry. And I wanted to pick the dog up. I wanted to be there for the dog. But I was like, oh my God, the dog, like the whole entire body is broken. How do you pick up a broken dog? Like, without causing it more pain? And Hart was telepathically explaining to me that this is just an image. The dog is actually dead. It's not feeling any pain. Up here emotionally, it was feeling pain because I thought it was still alive. And so Hart and I are talking telepathically, and Hart is confused because I'm confused that the dog's arm is broken because it's bent. But then it turns out the dog is telepathic and the dog starts communicating to us. The dog was worried that I wasn't going to accept it. It had a completely different perspective. It was worried that I wasn't going to accept it. And I was like, I accept you. It's just I'm worried because you're all broken up. And the dog was like, I'm not broken up. My arm is supposed to be warped. It was some kind of space dog. It didn't have normal bones. It had cartilage. And I'm just like, wow, you know, and it's just like just all these experiences that I love sharing and lack community to share. And I really delight in hearing other people's stories. And so,
so everybody's
go
check out your channel too. Yeah, everybody do that. Go put a big like on this video. Go ahead and subscribe, share. Go to Gina's channel and like, share, and subscribe. Gina, this has been awesome. It's been so much fun, and we've been going through all different manners of weather where it was the cloudy, the wind kicked up, it started a tiny bit rain. Now the sun's back out again the way it started. So give us some more information where people can find you. You're muted.
I was saying it's really nice just to hang out with you. You know, I was having a laugh with somebody else because basically this is the new social life. We don't talk on the phone anymore. We have meetings like this and we just make them public because it's cool to get other people in on it, right?
Exactly, we do. That's what we do. That's what we do now. It's crazy.
So
yeah.
The best place to find me, I'll put my BMAC link there in the coffee. You can find me on this comment has failed to post. I don't know why. Let me post it earlier.
I don't know why. Yeah, I've noticed that this is like locking up. Oh yeah.
But up in the chat, it's like the third comment. There's my buy me a coffee. I mean, I work with pole energy, so you could just Google my name, Gina Virginia Cassella. I'll come up, and you can book a session with me, a private session. I'm hosting a conference. I would like to host a conference this Saturday, but it's pending. I need somebody to buy a ticket tonight before midnight. And it was very last minute. So if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be upset about it, but it would be really cool. If anybody's looking for something to do on Saturday, just rewatch this here and you can find those details on my Buy Me a Coffee, because for $40 Canadian, you get to hang out, learn about the rules of the mind. You get to participate firsthand in suggestibility testing, and you never know, you could be the winner who gets that mind reprogramming session. So going back to Julia, like if she really wanted to stop drinking Pepsi, for example, then I would ask her, when was the first time you felt like you had to drink Pepsi? And I would regress her 3 times on that. So I'm also always looking for people to be on my show. I host Story Species Story Medicine Tuesdays 1:30, at least 2026 Eastern Time. And on Wednesdays, I hang out with you just like I'm hanging out with you now. And I'm so thankful to hang out with Missy Hill and her soul tribe. If anybody out there listening would like to have me on your show as a guest, I'm an easy guest. There's lots for me to talk about, too much for me to talk about. And I'm always happy just to promote the Dragon Dreams Oracle. I love pulling cards. It's a great way just to build community. And I would like to offer some courses. Just finding the time management right now, a bit of a struggle. And Rosie and I are looking to relocate somewhere warm. So if somebody's got a room to rent or whatever, reach out to us, because it'd be nice to move sometime this summer. So, yeah, and thanks so much, Christy, for joining in.
Yeah, thank you, Christy. Yeah, she wants to join, do the 3 of us sometime. That would be fun to do.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
333. So I think with that,
Yeah,
we're
there you
going
go.
goodbye, namaste for now.
Okay.
To be continued. It's just I have other things I have to do, like I have to go to the dump. Can you believe that? It's the stuff we have to do in this reality.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, look for eagles. There's a good place to find eagles at the dump, you know?
Yep, okay.
Of all the places,
See
yeah.
you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye, Missy. Thank you. Take care, everybody.